to it but to do it, you feel me?
This is life.
Let's get it.
We put blood, sweat, and tears into this. So
Look, I push that weight to get that dough, but I don't break cause I've been broke. If ain't no pain, then ain't no growth. To keep it 100, I came in to run it, and bet if I had to, I'd do it again. It ain't no race if I don't lose. Spite of the odds, I go get it like I'm a boss. If they step to me, we toss. Look how I done lost. And that's what keep me on my toes. Ain't no regular Joe, ain't no hanging the gloves on what's ahead. Still ain't.
Right on, you guys. Welcome back to the John Bisbee Show, the realest, truest podcast on the internet. Today I have a client with me. His name is Justin, and we're going to get to know Justin a little bit better. Welcome to the show, Justin.
Well, I'm glad to be here, John.
Right on. I appreciate you showing up. Justin, today we're going to do a shark tribal piece on your leg, and we're going to talk a little bit about who Justin is and where you're at in your life and kind of what you got going on.
Sounds good to me.
Right on. So I'm going to start tattooing, and I'm just going to ask you to start off with maybe tell the viewers a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Where were you born? A little bit about your family dynamic, if you had siblings, or how was your family life?
Well, family life is kind of chaotic. So my name's Justin. I'm 31. I'm from Colfax, Washington. Born and raised down there. Plowboy at heart, even though I'm going back to school to become an electrician. But I'm living in my own place now, just getting through a really nasty divorce where everything was and is a weapon. Weird how that works, but we're not going to say anything bad about my ex-wife. We're still in that nasty little process. So she can run her mouth all she wants, but like my good buddy and my attorney even said, you need to look at it as when it gets read in court, not if it gets read in court, because everything is ammunition.
Well, Justin hit the ground kind of hard, right into the meat and potatoes of what's going on in his life. Where were you born at?
I was born in Colfax.
In Colfax?
So.
And to, who was your parents?
Well, my mom and dad. My dad actually lives in Alabama now. They've been divorced for a long time. But my mom, Lisa, she's a pretty cool lady. She's like one of the superstars in Colfax. Nothing like growing up and your mom works in the pharmacy and there's only one pharmacy in a town of 3,000 people. So I couldn't get away with nothing. So I really had a pretty quiet life because it was I'd get stopped by the cops and, does your mom know where you are? Yeah. I don't think I would be out right now if my mom didn't know where I was.
Right. So you grew up in a small town, basically?
Yeah. 3,000 people. I graduated with 40 people.
So you did graduate high school, which was my next question. So did you go to college afterwards? Were you seeking a higher education, or did you kind of start the family life off and go into the workforce? What happened?
No, I went to college. I did 2 years on a degree I don't actually use. But I mean, that happens. You get into the trade and it's I don't enjoy
what did you go to college for, and what college did you go to?
I went to Walla Walla Community College, and I did 2 years in plant and soil sciences on the hopes to sell fertilizer, to find out that when you grow up farming, it's not very much fun on that side of the business. So I determined I would rather be calling shots and driving tractor than trying to sell guys fertilizer.
Okay. I mean,
so
yeah. So you ended up going to college, and you said you did 2 years. You made it sound like a prison sentence, big dog.
Well, some days it feels like it. I mean, no, I really did enjoy it. When you go to school for something you enjoy, you tend to actually absorb more. I learned a lot. I even got my CDL while I was down there, too. That was probably the best thing I did in college.
Okay.
So. That's
what's up. So did it travel into your current employment right now? Anything that you picked up in college, or?
Oh, right now, no. I'm a laborer, and I'm the fleet maintenance manager for an electrician company down there.
Okay. That's what's up. So after college, did you do anything exciting? Did you go travel the world, or, taste the fruits of, what's to offer? What's going on with you? Did you hop right into a family life?
Oh, I was dating a gal for a while, and I don't know, it really wasn't going anywhere, and that was one of those, I thought the grass was greener on the other side. I mean, it was greener for a while, but after a couple various girlfriends after that lifelong commitment, I met my now ex-wife.
Okay.
So we ended up having a little buddy. He's 6 now, my boy Braxton.
Okay. So you do have a son?
I do have a son. Yep, he's quite the kick in the pants. He's got his mom's attitude and his dad's personality. It's pretty great.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have a few children of my own, and they are definitely the best part of anything I am. But so you have the one son. You had another child as well.
Yeah, I did have another child. I had a kid. He was born with half a functional heart. They call it hyperplastic left heart syndrome. The best way to explain it, and the way it was kind of explained to me, is one of the valves between two of the chambers didn't form right. So the blood would just sit there and circulate inside his heart, not really go anywhere. They knew it at 20 weeks when they did the anatomy scan on him originally, and we knew it going forward.
Oof. So they gave you the option, I would assume, to terminate the pregnancy.
It wasn't really an offer. We were at Sacred Heart. They don't tend to offer that. But they were all very optimistic. You know, he still could live a good life. He could still get up and do things. He wasn't going to be able to play like football or nothing. But
oh, okay. So it wasn't something that just sealed his fate.
Yeah.
Okay. And how did that end up?
It ended up fairly good. He had to have 3 heart procedures, and after the second one, he ended up having a stroke in the hospital, which kind of crippled him a little bit. He was weak on his left side, but I mean, he was in the process of growing right out of it when we lost him. He was standing up, he was screaming, he'd throw things. We went to an Easter egg hunt, and it was in Post Falls, and they had a special needs one. So I carried him around. The little bugger would lean over and he'd pick up the egg and he'd squeal and chuck it about as far as he could. Wouldn't hit his basket, but he was throwing it at other kids. He was throwing it at the lady coordinating everything, everywhere but in the basket. It was quite the
my heart is definitely scream crying right now for you. I have children and I couldn't imagine anything. I actually have this weird thing where I have like intrusive thoughts, and sometimes it's like thoughts of them being injured, and just the thought of it is enough to make me cry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to ever, you know what I mean? Like that might be a mental problem, but I just don't ever want to get the news that like they got ran over or any drowning or like, you know what I mean? Like just that shit scares the hell out of a parent, you know?
It does. Well, I mean, I woke up in the morning and we thought it was just another seizure because he had been having seizures, which I guess is a common thing with kids that had strokes. And I thought it was just a normal seizure, so we went to go. I was going to haul him down to the hospital because it was faster for me to get in the pickup and go than for them to wait to come get him. Well, I got to the bottom of the stairs, and that's when he quit breathing in my arms, and I just went numb.
Yeah.
Go right into CPR on the run, and that was quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't even have words to describe the sympathy that I have for you over this story, and how grateful I am that you're actually willing to share such an impactful, meaningful story of your life with a bunch of people on YouTube. Like,
right.
Maybe there's somebody out there who got the same news as you did, and maybe, you know, just hearing something from another parent, you know, it might be something to help them. Who knows what words, you know, resonate with certain people, but sometimes, especially with something like that, I bet you it's easy to feel like there's nobody else out there that could understand anything about your situation.
Yeah.
So, you know, a lot of different people watch the show or YouTube or whatever, and if somebody runs across it, you know what I mean, hopefully it's something that at least helps them feel like they're not the only one out there dealing with it. Or maybe is there any support, like through the hospital? Do they offer anything like that once you find something out like that? Or?
Oh, they do. There's a whole support system just for this specific form of kids with congenital heart disease. It's just the amount of support out there it was unbelievable.
That's awesome. I mean, at the end of the day, he had a pretty normal childhood, though.
Yeah, no, we'd go places, and he'd, you know, was working on first words and was standing up, and he'd kind of pull himself up on the couch and pull himself kind of down the hall, and
And what was
He
his
just-
name?
Jace.
Jace? Right on. Well, that's kind of a super sore subject, man. What have you done to kind of help yourself get through this? Just the counseling, or?
Yeah, I went through counseling, but one of the biggest things I always enjoyed about telling his story was, he was born with all the odds against him. He shouldn't have made it out. They said he wouldn't make it through birth, but he took off running and he fought through it, and he fought through the stroke, and just absolutely phenomenal watching that kid continue to fight through everything he had been through. I mean, we'd go to physical therapy once a week, and as soon as we got there and I'd set him on the floor to check him in, away he goes. He'd go right back. He knew exactly where he was going, right into the back room to go play, and he'd always get excited when he'd see people that knew him, and he just was always, that big light every morning when I'd wake up, and there he was. It's like, well, we get another day. We're going to make every day count.
I got goosebumps right now, chills up my arms, listening to your story, and I do appreciate you sharing it. It's enough to make you realize that, the shit that I'm complaining about in my life, fuck, man, it don't even matter. You know what I mean? You can't sit next to somebody with a real issue and then still raise your hand like, I don't like the price of gas. Like,
right.
That's kind of not, who gives a fuck?
Right, yeah.
So, yeah. In the tattoo shop, especially, it's kind of a swing or a toss, to see what happens with conversation, because you don't know why people are coming in. And I just had a lady come in with her husband, and they got memorial tattoos for their 2 sons, their only children. He had found out he had blood cancer or something like that, and he was in the hospital, and his mother-in-law had brought both of his sons to the hospital to see him. And after the visit, she left, and a semi-truck with an undocumented illegal turned a Harley-Davidson pickup truck with 3 people in the truck into a coffin.
Rough.
Killed everybody in there, his mom and his 2 kids. And they have a memorial like paper up in the front counter here to just kind of memorialize them in our shop. And if there's anything you want to do for Jace, if you ever want to bring anything up here and hang it up, like, I've been here for 10 years, you know what I mean? If you think it's the appropriate place, if not, that's fine. But like, we're all about like just kind of like remembering people. We're making something that's worth hanging up, you know what I mean? We'll definitely put something up for you if you wanted to bring something to the shop.
Yeah, I'll absolutely have to think about it. I wear a bracelet on him every day.
Yeah.
Some lady just out of the blue made these and sent them to us, so
Yeah.
I've worn it every day since we got him and after he passed.
So how long has it been?
It's been 2 years now.
And you can talk about it that easy. That's crazy.
Yep.
And like, I'm not speaking on it because you won't know until you have to kind of deal with that sort of trauma. But I'm glad to see you're not in the corner eating color crowns. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. No, and like I said, I love sharing his story. Every day was a blessing, and he'd fight through everything. He was always determined to get somewhere in the house. He figured out. I remember when he first crawled up the stairs. I was laying in bed, and all of a sudden, here he is sitting here screaming at me, and it's like, that's not where I left you. He'd get good at pulling himself up onto the side of the bed. He wouldn't get onto the bed. It was a little tall for him, but he could just about get himself pulled up onto the couch, and it was pretty crazy how much he fought through all of it.
And you went through that with the mother?
Yeah, I went through it with his mother.
And did it cause a strain on the relationship?
I think it's pretty well what sealed the deal on the relationship. I mean, everybody always said, it's going to be hard to get through it together, and I did everything I could. I mean, who knows if it was quite enough, but there's always 2 sides to that story. But
yeah, you guys were together all the way through until he passed?
Yep.
And then how much longer after he passed did you guys
About a year. It was about, well, it was a handful of months, like 4 or 5 months, and then her and Brax moved up here to get him into a better school district, and that way she could find better work and be a little closer to her support system from where we were living in Pullman.
Have you tried to fill your spare time with anything positive to keep you busy, or how do you cope?
I work all the time. I grew up farming, so my safe space, or whatever you want to call it, is the seat of a tractor. It's my happy place. I can go sit on
the seat of a tractor?
Seat of a tractor. I can go put 14 hours in on a tractor and be 3 years old the whole time, giggling and squealing that, I'm still driving tractor.
Well, 14 hours on a tractor is better than 30 minutes on your cousin.
That's true.
I didn't think you would agree. No, I'm fucking with you. So
I know.
What are you doing on the tractor? Are you plowing? Are you
whatever.
Are you harvesting? Like
I'm not a farmer, so
I do whatever.
Enlighten us. What kind of tractor and what farm and what? Give us a little bit of rundown on that.
Well, Saturday I'm going to be on a tractor. I'll be running a 2-track John Deere T tractor, and we're going to be harrowing ground spring garb planting, I think is what the plan is. I don't know, Brady just said that, your tractor's going to be available. My cousin, ironically, has been running it. He's in the Army, and he got to come home for a while.
I was like, right after the cousin joke.
Right after, literally right after the cousin joke. Cousin Roby's in my tractor right now.
That's crazy shit.
So what are you guys planting? Is that what we're doing? Is planting, getting ready for the season?
Yeah, we're getting ready to plant. I think my pass will incorporate the herbicide that'll be the pre-plant before we plant the garbs.
Okay. And how many acres are we talking? Is this a big operation? Or
no,
is this
it's a mom and
grandma's
pop
front yard.
It's kind of like grandma's front yard. It's only a couple thousand acres. It really isn't that big of enough to keep one guy busy.
It takes a real redneck to say grandma's yard, couple thousand acres.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, there's some big fish out there, and there are some guys that make it work on less. So.
Yeah. No, that's crazy. I actually seen a guy in Montana. I rode my bike to Montana the other day, and this guy, I couldn't imagine anything other than what I assumed to be real, because he's in like a 30, 40 acre pasture.
Mm-hmm.
He got about 2 acres fucking mowed, and he is still going, but with a literal hand mower. You know what I'm saying?
That's crazy.
I'm like, what is this dude out here doing, bro? Like, had his pickup parked out there, just like 40 acre field with a hand mower. Like, holy shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I wonder if it was growing behind him. You know what I mean?
It probably was. He'd probably get done just in time to start
Turn
over.
around and see that shit. That row grew back. Right on. So what are you guys planting? Soybeans, cotton? Like
They're called garbanzo beans. They use them to
You
make
think
hummus.
because I'm fat I don't know what a fucking garbanzo beans
Well,
is?
I mean-
They're called a garbanzo. It's a little vegetable. You wouldn't know about it.
Hey, some people don't know how unversatile some
So
of
it's a
those things
garbanzo bean, right?
Yep.
I
I think-
actually like garbanzo beans.
Really?
If you cover them in ranch.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck yeah, bro. Like, get a salad, throw a bunch of garbanzo beans on there, and then kill it with ranch. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you're gonna plant those. Is that for like animal feed, or they actually need that many garbanzo beans?
They need that many garbanzo beans. We're one of the better producing parts of the world, surprisingly.
So do you have a cold storage and a product that you package and ship?
No, they're dry. They're dry beans. They'll go to a processor, and the processor will bag it all up and ship it clear across the world.
Okay.
So I don't know whose contract we got this year. I tend to just drive on the weekends and keep the simple things or the more complicated things to other people.
So it's all computerized at this point, like tractors and shit?
I hit a button and I start watching YouTube or Netflix. I don't know. I've been watching. I restarted
Your boss might
watching.
see this shit. What he meant to say was he pays a lot of attention, tries really hard.
He knows I literally do drive tractor and watch TV all day. He knows once that auto steer goes on that I can multitask fairly well.
Auto steer.
Yep.
That sounds like a fucking mad redneck waiting to go postal.
Well, some guys can't do it. Other
I'm
guys
gonna put
can.
this combine with your address on it and put it on auto steer, motherfucker. Like type shit. Yeah.
Drives in a straight line, get to the end of the field, turn around, hit the button again, away it goes.
Okay. So while driving combine,
is it, or tractor or whatever? Have you ever run anything over? Like
I have run things over. I've gotten too close to power poles and hit them. I've gone right over the top of well heads. I've found
so
tires.
Look back and there's a water stream just.
Yep.
But no animals or none of that shit, like sleeping deer. Or...
No animals yet. I keep trying to pride myself. One of these days I'm gonna hit a coyote or something, but they're just too quick for me.
Yeah, you're not allowed to aim for them though.
Yeah.
That's what's up. So when you guys do the harvesting, do you store these garbanzo beans? By the way, this is going to be the most interesting podcast ever. These garbanzo beans, man.
These
Holy
garbanzo
shit.
beans.
Yeah. So fucking, do you guys store them and sell them on site, or is there somebody who comes picks them up and ships them out for you?
We'll truck them into a processor. We've got a couple processors local that they take them in and they'll stick them in bins and they'll make sure they're dry enough, and then they put them in 50-pound sacks and shove them in shipping containers and send them to the coast.
That's what's up. Yeah, Californian's probably your biggest consumer of the nasty ass flavorless garbanzo bean.
Yep, a lot of them go that way. We send a lot Middle East. A lot of them have been going to the Middle East recently.
Oh, for the goddamn! What do they make out of that hummus?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Nope. One of our local.
You're the hummus connect.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yep. Nope. PNW, one of our elevator companies down there, they grow on contract the garbanzo beans that go into Sabra hummus.
I'm fucking dead right now.
Yep. Nope. They sack them up and they'll ship them back to New York.
This is nothing I'll ever brag about. I know the dude who
raises beans for Sabra. Yeah.
Oh shit. I might have tried that shit once.
I don't know. I'm not a hummus. I don't adventure very far from steak and potatoes.
So let's hit the gears on them, man. Tell me something about your life, something that's been super crazy or interesting. Have you ever been standing at the counter and the bank's being robbed, or like what's going on?
Oh, nothing that wild. I'd have to really think about that one.
No Mexican hooker in a donkey show, nothing?
No, I drove overnight to Mount Rushmore one time. That was cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a Duramax, and I was with my buddy's girlfriend. She was riding with me. He was riding with somebody else, and it was we're going to run up to the $50,000 silver bar up there on the pass.
Right.
They get there before we do. We come rolling through Wallace at 75 and get a phone call. We're going to race you clear to Mount Rushmore. So we drove clear to Sturgis, South Dakota that night, overnight. Tag team drove, and that was actually quite an adventure. Went and walked through Sturgis, and we went up to Mount Rushmore and drove home, and that was one of my least favorite trips home. We got to about Billings, Montana, and I had to change the fuel filter in that pickup because it kept derating the pickup. That wasn't very much fun. Sub-zero weather, I still can't feel my fingertips.
Yeah, I got caught in a snowstorm on my motorcycle on a mountain pass in Butte, Montana one time.
Ugh.
A duck walking my Harley, like 6 inches of snow.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Miserable.
Mm-hmm.
But, so what's your plans for 2026, man? Are you going to keep driving the combine? You got any kind of plans in the works?
Well, hoping.
I know you were started off a little early with basically, cutting us in that you have an ex that you're not really like completely finished with the whole process of, making her your real ex. But so what's going on with your life and what do you got going on?
Well, I got a place. I got my own place finally. I was living up here in Spokane till she decided that, we didn't want to be together anymore and went for a protection order. So, took my kid, and I maybe talked to him 5 times the past 3 months. I haven't actually seen him, but I mean, it is what it is. I'll get to see him one of these days. We got all the paperwork in place for the divorce and parenting plan and all the good stuff, so now it's just a wait and see kind of thing.
So you got your walking papers filled out?
I got all the walking papers. I got an attorney to fill all my walking papers filled out. I haven't done nothing. That was the best thing I did. I went and got an attorney. A lot less stressful.
So what's Spokane for you right now? Just a temporary place to hang your hat, or you got any plans to ever go see any place else? Like what are you doing?
Well, I'm hoping once all this settles out, I can find